Hello and welcome to Horrify, the absolute finest horror channel on YouTube, in my opinion, which deals with real-life horrors and fictional horrors. Today we're going to look at a real-life case of horror, specifically Journal of Murder by Carl Panzram. So this is a very, very interesting book. It deals with the serial killer Carl Panzram, who claimed to have murdered up to 21 people and assaulted thousands more. He was also something of a petty criminal who committed numerous burglaries, robberies, and arsons across America. He was kind of like, some people have described him as a one-man apocalypse, and that's really not too far from the truth. So, what exactly is this book? How exactly is this book set up? The book basically is a mix of two things. First of all, there are about 40 pages of Panzram's own writings. He had his own journal. He kept a journal and he passed it to a friend while in prison. The friend was a prison guard by the name of Henry Lesser. So we have Panzram in his own words. And then we also have the authors of the book analysing, interjecting in between his passages with their own observations and commentary as well. The two different narratives flow together extremely well, and the book is very, very, very coherent, and it gives you a very, very good picture of Panzram himself, and the observations of the two authors are also very interesting too. It's an unusual document because, as we know, it's very unusual for serial killers to leave a kind of record written or recorded by themselves. So Panzram's document is very interesting because it gives an insight into the mind of the serial killer, and also the mind of the serial killer in his own words, and that's very, very rare. Also, the events in the book, Panzram was born in 1590 and he was executed in 1930. So it gives us a it's like a kind of time capsule, really, giving us a view of not only the serial killer Panzram himself, but his view of the prison system, the kind of things that happened in prisons in those days, the kind of things that were normal in prison. And it gives us a very, very good kind of picture of how the penal system was then, how convicts were treated, and the kind of world that Panzram came from. There are also some excellent pictures in the book as well. There are mugshots of Carl Panzram, there are pictures from various prisons, and there's a picture of one of his old cells as well. So it's well served with pictures. If I had to have, I don't have any criticisms of the book in itself. It's very well put together. A bit about Carl Panzram. Why is there a book about him? Well, first of all, because we know about him because of the journal that he wrote and that was preserved. His friend Henry Lesser, a novice guard at the time, encouraged him to write down his story, and it was Henry Lesser who preserved Panzram's document after Panzram was executed. So it's thanks to Henry Lesser that we know about Panzram. Without this document, probably nobody would know who he is. And it's worth talking about this because Panzram is, if you're interested in true crime, you will almost certainly have heard of Panzram. There was a film about him in which James Woods played the role of Panzram. I haven't seen this film, so I can't comment whether it's good or not. But there's a lot of material on him on the internet. There's this book, obviously. So he's one of those serial killers which is very well known. He's probably up there, or maybe not quite up there with Ted Bundy or John Wayne Gacy or Jeffrey Dahmer. But particularly for a man from his era, he's kind of, I think, one of the only ones we really seem to know about. And thanks to the journal, we get to know Panzram pretty well. He obviously, he committed a wide variety of crimes, and as I said before, he claimed to have killed 21 people. He claimed to have committed SA on more than 1,000 male individuals, and he claimed also hundreds, perhaps thousands of other more minor crimes, robberies, etc. Are his claims true? We've got no way of knowing that. One of the interesting things about this book is, as I said, it gives a picture of a bygone world, a world in which communication was nowhere near as sophisticated as it is today, and a world where policing was nowhere near as sophisticated as it is today. So obviously it was far more possible for people to get away with things, and it's also possible that some of what he says is exaggerated. Perhaps some of it's just downright lies. Who can say? But it's a very, very, very interesting read in any case. It's worth noting that one of his contemporaries, Robert Stroud, who's better known as the Birdman of Alcatraz, was in a cell next to Panzram when Panzram was on death row in Leavenworth. And Stroud didn't believe Panzram's claims. He thought Panzram was a fantasist. Why he thought that, it's not explained. Panzram certainly is an interesting figure. When you read the book, you really get the sense that his own life was nothing but one long real-life horror story from when he was a child. He suffered tremendous cruelty and abuse both outside prison and inside prison. It made him very, 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 very angry. He was full of hate for the human race. He also hated himself. One of his famous quotes is, "I wish the human race had just one neck so I could get my hands around it." I suppose we've all felt that way every now and then. I know I certainly do, especially when people don't like and subscribe to my videos. Anyway, leaving that aside, Panzram was an interesting figure. Another point is he comes across as being an intelligent man. He doesn't come across as being a lumpen thug. He seems like someone who, with a different background, might have gone on to succeed in life. He certainly wasn't. He doesn't appear to have been stupid. Whether he was truly born evil or made evil, of course, is not something that can be solved. I mean, we don't know for sure, but he certainly turned out to be an extremely savage individual, not someone that anyone in their right mind would want to have any contact with. So, as I say, it's a great book. It's definitely worth reading, and I would highly recommend it if you're into true crime, or if you're into sort of historical true crime, because it's kind of a mix between it's an interesting historical document as well, I think. And it's interesting to contrast how the prison system was back in those days, how society was back in those days, and what the differences are nowadays. So, highly recommended. If you read it or if you've read it, please let me know what you think of the book in the comments below, and I will see you next time. In any case, I hope that you have been thoroughly horrified. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.